Let me also get on board. We have Mr. Ashish Chouhan, the CEO of the National Stock Exchange, who's joining us right now. Mr. Chauhan, a very important move. This was something that the economy, the markets had been following very, very closely. This is, of course, good news in one sense, but also demonstrates India's strength militarily, diplomatically as well.
No, absolutely. And I think it is the right decision. It's been a demonstration which we had never even imagined of our technical superiority. In fact, if you recall, when the Hamas had attacked Israel, and then they had this Iron Dome, which used to save Tel Aviv, we used to always wonder whether we will be able to ever achieve in next 50 years that kind of technical superiority. And we didn't even know that our own government has been able to put it in place. And today, when in a way ceasefire has been announced, it's only with what I call an upper hand. And no country can kind of afford a long-term skirmishes even. And that's why I think it's a very wise move, I would say.
Right. How do you think this demonstrates India's capability, not just militarily, sir, but also diplomatically with the United States? Because the US clearly played a very important role in helping end these hostilities and bringing about this ceasefire.
And absolutely. India has come a long way in terms of... Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So India has come a long way in its diplomacy over the last 11 years under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. I think in some ways it also reflects the growing economic strength of India. It is almost now the fourth largest economy as per some of the statistics in the world. And it's bound to grow. In fact, the larger news would have been, if this had not happened, the UK-India Free Trade Agreement, and of course the forthcoming US-India economic agreement would have been much more about discussion in this particular situation that came about, which was unfortunate and imposed unjustly on us. But I think broadly, I think I'm glad that it's over now.
Right. Good news for the markets as well. Investors had been jittery. Any prolonged conflict would have not been good for the economy. But would you be watchful here on, sir? And what would you be looking out for?
So in a way, India has a ramp up now of 20-30 years of the first time in independent India's history, we have now a free trade agreement with UK. It's going to happen with US. In fact, WTO, although it was supposed to be rule-based, it was never rule-based. And it was always keeping India aside. It had given huge benefits to China, but India was always kind of a wannabe. And in some ways, this going for bilaterals instead of multilateralism, India is going to be a great beneficiary. Next 20-30 years are going to be India's in many, many ways. And that's where this was a distraction. Probably people considered it was also immediately after Apple's decision to shift the production base for all iPhone exports from India to US instead of China. Many people can that reason also. And that's where I think overall it's best to avoid, but having a bad neighbor, you can't help, you can't select your neighbors in a geopolitical sense. And so you have to keep on containing. And I think US's role, even going forward, is going to be very, very crucial in this regard.
Okay. And my final question to you, sir, do you feel that this move would now give confidence to investors that, yes, India in a time of crisis can show its strength, but with restraint, with maturity, and can make sure it ends also in time and keep the economy going as well. The fact that in the midst of these hostilities, we signed an FTA with the United Kingdom, we're close to signing a deal with the United States, sends a very strong message to these investors. And the fact that the ceasefire has now happened, do you feel that India's growth story remains intact?
No, absolutely. In fact, the message has been sent that such kind of activities will not be tolerated further and should not be tolerated by the international community also. And that's where I think India has scored a point overall. And at the same time, India has also been very accommodative of the world views which have come to cease the hostilities. And I think it's a very wise decision. And of course, India is doing it with upper hand. So that's also an interesting sort of situation. And of course, India's technological superiority, because if you look at even the Israeli Iron Dome, I mean, Israel is kind of size of Goa or even less probably, whereas India has been able to sort of create an air defense system which is watertight from Kashmir to Gujarat, almost 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers. It's some, I think, new wonder of the world, I would say.
All right. Mr. Ashish Chouhan, thank you so much for joining us. The MD and CEO of NSE saying that this move, the ceasefire, will once again instill confidence in investors, both within the country and globally, in the India growth story. The Defence Minister is holding a press conference, I believe. Let's see if we can go across to that.